We gotta look back at this.
How does he maintain possession?
Jenkins, and that definitely was a little helmet-to-helmet on that hit.
Guys, Meredith Gorman here, and are you still not subscribed to Matt's channel? Well, if you're not, hit the subscribe button because he's giving out free picks each and every week. Hope you have a good rest of your day.
NFL Conference Finals are here, guys. Two great matchups. Chiefs at Ravens. Lions versus 49ers. All Sunday afternoon and evening. No Saturday games anymore. I'll be looking at both games, providing stats, breakdowns, leans, and even a free pick or two. Client card is now available at systemsportscapping.com or link.me/systemcapping. Big divisional round for myself, clients, and free play video viewers or audio listeners. Remember, we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere you get podcasts, and of course, YouTube as well. Wherever you're listening or viewing, it is much appreciated. 5-0 client card last week. All over the 49ers and the Ravens. We had them in the money line with the Lions plus money. Teaser market plus 120. We had teaser market was what? 49ers just to win, Ravens to win, and KC plus 9.5. That hit easily for us. Obviously, Packers gave us a little bit of a scare, right? Packers made it close, but in the end, the better team prevailed. The defense stepped up, and Purdy had a much better fourth quarter. Close game. There's some weather issues there, but, hats off to Green Bay. Green Bay has been playing great football towards at the end of the year. The time you need to play great football, they showed up there at the end. Also on KC, plus the points. We also gave a free play underdog outright winner. Was my favorite underdog last week. 2-0 in the prop market as well. All over Kelsey, over 60 yards. He had a big game. It was very impactful. Also jumped on Pacheco anytime touchdown. Always a great look week to week. Sitting nicely heading into the conference championship in the future market, guys. All over the Ravens and 49ers at the start of the year. And it could happen now. It could happen. It's favored to happen. Doesn't mean it will happen. We're sitting with the Ravens plus 1,800 ticket. Right? Current is what? Plus 200. Right? 49ers plus 1,000. Both those outrights were bet at the start of the year for clients. I also still have a pending ticket on the championship here. AFC Championship. Ravens over Chiefs plus 550. Couple runs that we're on right now. 10-2 NFL run heading into the final four teams this weekend. 5-0 NFL Divisional Round. NHL 11-5. Back-to-back profitable PGA events. 23-7. 77% in the free play golf market. Over a year now, guys. Over a year. If you're not following me, you can find these free plays. I do short videos. 30 to 60 seconds on TikTok, Instagram, stories, and I'll post it on Twitter as well. Not every week. No free play this week, but most weeks you will get it. Give me a follow on social media. System Capping. All over the place. I'm at System Capping. You want to follow me over there. Let's hear from my friend Kristen before we get into this card.
For you sports bettors out there, let's be honest, you probably need a little bit of help beating those books. System Capping is a proven long-term winner against the sports betting market in multiple sports. He's built a worldwide clientele due to his high winning percentage over the years. Be sure to click the link on the bio down here to check out his profile, and you can also find out his resume, client comments, podcasts, and subscription opportunities. I'm going to be following him along too, so let's win some money together this season.
Shop around. Shop around. Have multiple sports books so you can get the best price. Best number. Best prop out there. Chiefs at Ravens. Minus 3.5 Ravens. Total 44.5. To be the best, you have to beat the best in the playoffs. Chiefs have been the best for years in the AFC. Either making it to the AFC Championship 6 years in a row, guys. Tip my cap to that. Or winning the Super Bowl like they did last year. Very impressive for the Chiefs, right? A lot of people didn't have them making it back to the AFC Championship, right? They did not look great throughout the year, but they have found something late here, right? They were playing good at the end of the year, and they start playing good in the playoffs. Just snuck by the Buffalo Bills. Right? That game could have gone either way, but Chiefs made the bigger plays then to end the game. Obviously, their defense showed up there, and Mahomes is starting to look like the Mahomes we know. I think the Ravens should want the Chiefs. Prove that it's a change of guard. Prove that you are the best team in the AFC. And how you do that is beating the best team that's been in the AFC for the past 6 years, making it 6 straight years to this championship game. Right, the Ravens cruised by the Houston Texans after a slow start at half, 10-10. Then the Ravens dominated, took over, made changes in that game, and it was due to the pressure, right? Houston pressured, during the years, like 29% average. They pressured like 69% of plays, right? Ravens didn't expect that. So good game plan on the Texans side there. But then Ravens adapted, sat in the pocket, got out the ball quick, and then they took over the game. Previous years, they wouldn't have. They wouldn't have been able to adapt, but with Moncton and Lamar Jackson being much more mature, they were able to switch the game plan and just take over and end up blowing out the Titans, right? That defense, guys. Technically, they only allowed 3 points, right? The one touchdown was only off a punt return. Terrible coverage. I was surprised how it got there. Closed very quickly. Some good blocking. They did have a good little scheme there from the Texans special teams. It wasn't impressive coverage and blocking for him to get open through the middle, but terrible plays on special teams there from Baltimore. Right? Only 3 points this defense allowed. They were coming off a 40-plus game on the Browns, and the Browns were supposed to have a top-end defense. Some say the best, some say top 3. They were good and the best in some categories. All around, though, I thought Ravens are the better defense. They obviously proved that here. But yeah, that was shocking how Houston put that many points up. Let's be honest here, right? The Ravens just shut them down. It was loud in there as well. A lot of false start penalties on Texans. You got to give it for two. One, Houston's never been in that position before, under the bright lights in the big game. But also it was loud in there. It was loud in there. I was just at a Baltimore game against Miami. It was loud. It was loud in there as well. Very underrated stadium and how loud it is. Let's talk about Lamar, right? Lamar, the MVP of the season. Big game. Big second half. Right? Lamar had 2 passing TDs, 2 rushing TDs, over 100 yards rushing, over 100 yards passing. First time in playoff history. That's just what he does. Right? He just continues to break records and have big games. And obviously, before this, there was some concern with Lamar Jackson and his playoff record. Right? 1-3 in the playoffs, guys. Right? He has nothing on Mahomes. Nothing on Mahomes in the playoff record. At least from the playoff standpoint, right? But now's his time to prove it. Now's his time to prove it. Your favorite stat of that game. Listen to this, guys. You ready for this? Let's obviously go to the Ravens defense here. The Texans did not allow the Ravens did not allow the Texans to have a snap in the red zone. Yes, you heard that right. The Texans did not snap the ball in the red zone in that game. An offense that was coming into this game super hot, red hot, right? They did not allow a snap in the red zone. That's impressive. It doesn't happen too many games, period. It happens in their biggest game of the year. Fun fact, first time ever Baltimore will be hosting an AFC championship game. The Chiefs had to play hard-fought game against the Bills on the road. Game could have went either way. Chiefs made more plays when it mattered. They were able to step on defense late in that game, drive down the field fairly easily. Especially in the second half, they were able to go up and down the field fairly easily. And the Bills were banged up on defense, and it showed. right? Fifth string linebackers. Secondary was banged up all year. Didn't really have a pass rush, right? They don't really have a pass rush. You know, a guy, it's more of a collective effort. They don't really have that guy to get to the quarterback consistently. Right, big game for Kelsey. Big game, 2 touchdowns, 75 yards, very active. And I knew he was going to have a good game due to the linebacking concerns in Buffalo. Right, Pacheco, another good game. And Mahomes just has found a second gear in the playoffs. I guess I can't say I'm surprised, even though I do think their weapons are very limited. Right, 17 for 23, very good percentage. Very nice percentage there. 2 passing TDs. Didn't need to throw a ton. Right, just 215. But Pacheco ran for 97 yards. Got that touchdown as well for us. Right, I wouldn't say the defense played great. I think they made the big plays. It's hard to play great against Josh Allen. Right, you got to give Josh Allen his credit there. But did not play great. We saw their shutdown corner Snead get beat for a touchdown. That was all Josh Allen. Nice catch as well by the wide receiver there. But yeah, overall, I don't think their defense played great. It was more Mahomes stepping up in the playoffs where he's used to, right? Listen, you know, Mahomes is a guy you just don't really want to bet against in the playoffs too often. This is a year where I feel comfortable doing so, though. Mahomes hasn't seen anything close to the defense he's about to see, guys. Not even close. Sure, Buffalo had a good defense, and they had a good defense on the year. No, they didn't. Half their defense was banged up, guys. Their best 2 players have been out for half the year. They look good against bad teams, the Buffalo defense. They were really banged up going into that game. So sure, it's nice, KC putting up all those points. But you got to keep in mind that Buffalo defense was banged up. This Ravens defense, fully healthy. Marlon Humphrey back. Marlon Humphrey will be back for this game. The issue I have with the Chiefs is they don't really have that, you know, game breaker guy that could kind of take over a game in the wide receiver position. Now, Rice had that good game, a nice game to start off the playoffs there. Not so much against the Bills. It was more of a run-heavy type of game. I think Rice is going to have a good future. But against his defense, I just don't see him having that big game where I think he needs to. Kelsey, you know, I think Hamilton's going to be all over him. Could be a nightmare for Kelsey. You know, I expect Kelsey still to get a couple big grabs, right? He's been here, done that. Not the same tight end that he was, I think, you know, just a few years ago. Still one of the best, you know. Obviously, I think their main weapon, right? Your main weapon being your tight end, probably not the best, right? They just don't have that depth in the offense to really, I think, you know, put up a high scoring number on this Ravens defense, right? Where I think KC can win this game is their defense going to have to play outstanding and limit Lamar Jackson. And I just have a hard time seeing that happen, guys. Right? Mahomes also can extend plays with his legs. I think he's going to have to do that. Pacheco's going to have a great game as well. Ravens were able to shut down Singletary for most part. I think they're at anything throughout the year you could say about this defense is their run game at times struggled. Not really even struggled. It was just their weakness. So if the Chiefs are able to exploit that, hey, great. Great for them, right? I just don't think they will. I don't see Pacheco, you know, taking over this game. And I mean taking over the game like, you know, 120 to 150 rushing yards, 2 TDs. That's what I think he's going to need to do for the Chiefs to win this game. I don't see Mahomes just throwing all over this Ravens defense with his limited weapons. You know, the Ravens offense against this improved, solid Chiefs defense, I think, is what I'm most looking forward to. How could the Chiefs limit Lamar Jackson? I do think the Ravens defense will limit Mahomes to some extent, right? Mahomes is going to have his shine as well. But like I said, Mahomes hasn't seen a defense like this for a very long time. And he doesn't have the weapons like he used to. Right? Where I think the Ravens are going to have the success is on the ground, actually, in this game. Chiefs struggle against the run. Allen ran 12 times for 72 yards. Lamar, just over 100 yards last week on the ground. I expect him to be a threat on the ground like he always is. So look for him to run, break some big runs. Could be a nice look in the prop market, Lamar over. And they got 3 solid running backs. Insert Dalvin Cook now as well. He had some run last game, look good. Gus Edwards, hard running back. And Hill, Justice Hill's been playing a really good football. A lot of you guys may not even know who he is. If you do, not too much about him. Very explosive. Great yards after catch. Can catch out of the backfield. Hill has been playing some great football to end the year here. Key injuries heading into this game. Chiefs seem to be a little more banged up. Their best O-lineman, Tooney, looks like he's out for this game, guys. I think he's going to miss this game. If he does, I don't expect him to be 100% even close to it. It's a pec injury. Pec injury is the worst injury you can have as an O-lineman. That's why I don't think he plays. Right? I've heard he's been their best O-lineman all year. One of the best. I think they have a good center, Humphrey, right? They got a good O-line, right? Mahomes always up there for most time in the pocket. But Tooney's a big loss for them. Other guys that are questionable probably will play, but questionable, Willie Gay and Edwards, both starters in the secondary. They are questionable to play this week. I do think they play, though. Marlon Humphrey practiced on Wednesday. That's big news. Big news. They're already deep at that position. So it's not a huge loss if he didn't play. It is a loss, though. What if someone goes down, right? Marlon Humphrey has been into the lineup the whole season. But when he plays, guys, he's a shutdown guy. He does have to be 100%, though, to be that shutdown guy. There's only one guy in the NFL that has a better pass completion percentage against him. Who is it? Ronald Darby, his fill-in. One of the best and most underrated signings in all of the NFL this year. Ronald Darby is allowing a 44% completion percentage against him this year. Marlon was just over that at 45-something. What a season from Ronald Darby. What a season. Wouldn't be surprised if he starts. Marlon and him just rotate. Right? We got Brandon Stevens on the other side. Breakout year. He's the number one this year. He's guarding one of the best, their top guy. So he'll probably be on Rice. They'll rotate. But that depth there at corner is huge. I don't need to tell you guys who I'm on. You guys already know who I want to win this game. Obviously with the plus 1,800 outright pending on the Ravens. I've been all over them all year. They've made me a lot of money throughout the year. Let's hope they get the big win here at home. Move to the Super Bowl. No comment on the total. I'll be staying away from that. It's hard to predict how well the Chiefs offense is going to come out. Again, it's been looking better. It's been looking better. But it has been looking as good as against a defense like this. So I want to see how it comes out. Prop watch, you want to look at, Pacheco, a guy who can go over into yards. I do expect him to be featured here. I've been on him multiple times throughout the past few weeks. And he's been successful cashing for me. Touchdown, I don't know. I wouldn't really back them here in the touchdown market, but I do expect them to be featured here and get over in yards. Weather in Baltimore, chance of rain, limited wind and cold, doesn't favor either team. Lions versus 49ers. 49ers -7 total, 50.5. No better story than the Lions this year, right? One win away from the Super Bowl. Can you imagine that a few years ago? No. They were continuing to get better, but putting them at this Super Bowl level this quick, I think it's a little premature. Most people would think that, right? But the NFC opened up. Not as good as previous years. Dallas continue to struggle in the playoffs. So here are the lines. Here are the lines. You know, the 49ers are lucky to be here. Lucky to be here. They did step up when they needed to in that game to show that they were the better team, but Packers almost stole that, right? Concerns with Purdy. Can he play big and step up in that big game? I got to give him credit. He looked good in that fourth quarter. Terrible all game. Some I think was due to weather. There was weather concerns in that game, but for both teams there's weather concerns, right? How often does it rain in San Fran? I think it's rare, from what I've heard. So I don't think he was ready for that, Purdy. Team in general, obviously losing Deebo Samuel in the middle of that game, I did think he was a big part of their game plan going into that game, and then losing him, you know, kind of downgrade. So Christian McCaffrey kind of had to take over there, and then Purdy played well in the fourth to steal it. You know, the Lions got it done versus the Bucks, putting up 31 points against a Bucks D that was playing really well coming into that game, guys. They were playing great. They only allowed 9 points in their last 2 games of the season. Against 2 teams that were struggling on offense, I get it. But their defense played well, and that's why they ended the season as the champions of the division and getting to that far because of their defense and, you know, Baker playing well. You know, the Bucks hang around in that game, hard-fought game against the Lions on the road, right? Lions got that big turnover late to seal the game. You know, solid day from Goff, 287, 2 TDs. Gibbs is really proving to be a star this season, over 100 total yards and a TD in a big game. Just so explosive, right? He's a guy that can burst for that 30 yards anytime or take it to the house. Mayfield had success in the air, but who doesn't against the Lions, right? I expect Purdy to have success in the air as well. You know, Baker threw for over 349 yards, guys, and 3 passing TDs. He did have 2 turnovers, however, and the Lions have been getting turnovers and have led the NFL actually as of late in turnovers. And that's what this defense could do. It takes chances. It can get you a big turnover, but also can allow a lot of yards against, right? One of the worst passing defenses in the NFL. Let's be honest, guys. This Lions defense isn't great, especially against the pass and yards allowed in the air. Towards the bottom of the NFL all year long. As of late, a little better. Baker's 349 won't help the cause, though. Baker throwing for 349 is not going to help your numbers. But they have been making big plays as of late, right? The big drive against the Rams they stopped at the end of the game. The big turnover. So, Lions are making plays. Can they continue this success making the big plays? They got to get turnovers to win this game, guys. They're going to have to turn over Purdy. You know, I got this number at plus 7.5 for the Lions. I like that. I expect them to hang around in this one. You know, they're too well coached not to show up here. Their offense is too explosive not to show up here. Playing better defense right now. Listen, the offense, it's always going to be good score points. I'm just worried about the defense. Are they going to be able to slow down Purdy and all his fancy, shiny toys, weapons, Christian McCaffrey as well? A shootout's possible here. I wouldn't be surprised if it gets over this total of 50.5. Not super high on it. I won't be betting it, but wouldn't be surprised if it goes over this 50.5. It's not super high total. No recent meetings between these two worth mentioning, so I'm not going to even worth, you know, sure, the 49ers are 7-1 since 2006. But what does that mean, right? The Lions were terrible. Last meeting was in 2021 when the Lions were terrible. So I'm not going to even look at that here. Lions were 6-3 on the road this year. That's something worth mentioning. They proved they can win on the road, even though the teams weren't as high, not even close to high level as San Fran. San Fran is one of the best teams in the NFL. You got to look at their wins, though, guys. They did beat the Chiefs on the road. That's impressive. Always hard to play at Arrowhead. And that was in week 1, so I can't factor that in too much. Against Dallas, you could say they won that game on the road. We know Cowboys at home, minus the playoffs. Right? But the competition wasn't great for the Lions throughout the year. Obviously a better home team. You know, I think it's a tall task here to win on the road, sure. If any team can't pull it off, I could see the Lions do it to this storybook season. I wouldn't be shocked if the Lions win this game. Surprised? Sure. Not shocked. A little bit of a difference there. Right? And there is value. There is value on that plus 260 for the Lions. due to the Deebo Samuel concerns, didn't practice to start the week. You're definitely going to want to check that. I wouldn't be shocked if the Lions come in and roll and win this game in San Fran due to that offense. Their defense is going to have to step up, though, and continue to get those turnovers to win this game. Some prop watches, obviously look at Gibbs over total yards. I do think he's going to have to be very effective in this game for them to win this game. St. Brown, always high total, 84.5. I don't think he's going to be as successful compared to the run game here. I think Gibbs is going to have to be very active. You saw Jones do it. They got over 100 yards on the ground last week, Green Bay, so look that way. Looking forward to this game. I'm going to have to obviously look to San Fran to win the game outright. That's the more logical play, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Lions steal one here due to this season that they're having. Storybook season. Would not be surprised if the Lions go in there and win the game. Definitely wouldn't be surprised if they cover. That will do it, guys. That will do it. Not far away from the Super Bowl. This is my favorite weekend, though. Championship weekend, right? This is my favorite weekend. This is going to be an exciting Sunday. Starts at 3 p.m. Can't wait for these games. We got 2 nice futures pending. 3 if you want to add the AFC Conference Championship game. So excited for this. Can't wait. Client card now available if you want my full plays for this weekend. Like I always say, guys, bet smart and there are limits. Enjoy this weekend.